So here we are again. I welcome everyone who wasn't here before, and welcome back everyone who was. And so here I've got a little bit of a conundrum. You notice that I have a whole bunch of blanks here. If you look down here in this corner of the screen, you'll see that there's a bunch of blanks. And the reason for that is because I only had like 35 people who actually wanted to get in on this role at the time. So right now, I'd be willing to offer to anyone who hasn't already gotten themselves involved in this role. If you're a registered bidder with me and you want to get in on this role, you just let me know. The spots are free. Hi, Layla lady. You know, like for instance, Bill Betts, if you wanted a 2020 Lincoln Cent, here's your chance. We can get you one. But save that. Bin X free. That works. So, see, it's this easy. I got this, and I'll write B Betts on it. And we got it. Raymond Longy wants in. Okay. I got Raymond Longy in. James Eubanks. If you're not registered with me, I don't have your address. I don't have your email address. I don't have anything. Basically just your YouTube name if you haven't registered with me. So I have no way of contacting you to let you know that I'm ready to send it. I just need your address. Okay, Layla lady, I'll put you in. My pen is just about dead. Layla lady. Okay. That gets a few of the blank slots taken up. I never had an opportunity to ask the person who donated this role if they wanted their name mentioned. So I will not mention their name, but if they would like to come on and actually say something in the chat and let us know who you are, then I would be happy for you to post that. Okay. Ed Burrell is the person who donated this role to us. He wanted to see us go through this role. And so he is the person who sent this role in to us. And I definitely appreciate it very much. I've not ever seen a 2020 Lincoln Cent, so we're going to get our first chance right here. And if there's anyone else in here right now who's not gotten in on this role yet, you can let me know, because I have a few extra spots. And basically what we're going to do with the extra spots is, if I draw one of these after I draw your name, you're going to get the next coin. So everyone here will have the opportunity to get a couple of extra free coins for their grandkids or for their neighbor's collection or whomever else they know. Take it to your coin club meeting and give it away as a raffle to someone. Robert, did you already get in? I don't remember if you're already in on this role. If you're not, I can get you a spot in this role, but I'm not going to get anyone more than one spot without a drawing. I don't think you're in this one, so I'll put you in for one spot. Okay, I got you right there for one. I don't think you're already in there. I don't remember putting your name in this one. So I usually remember everyone's name I put in these. I've got at least 10 or 15 extra spots. Yes, BMP 804, all you do is pay shipping. So I'll stick you in here, and what you're going to need to do, Penny Parent, can you put in the registration email so that they'll know how to register with us? All you have to do is register. It's free to register. All we're doing is getting your PayPal email address, and I'll PayPal you a bill for 50 cents so that I can pay the postage to get your coin to you. So BMP 804 you'll have to send us one of those emails. Let us know your PayPal email address. Let us know your regular first and last name so that we know who to call you. And we'll get you one sent. Joe McBride. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Did you ask to be put in? Let's see. Jeff Dunn. No, I don't think I have you in this one. So I will put one in for Joe McBride. If you've already made an order with me this week, it will be included in your package. You don't have to pay any extra shipping. It's the only reason I had anyone paying shipping on these was so that I can actually put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and send it to you and not be out 50 cents per person, or 55 cents, or however much it is now. Rudy! How are you doing, Rudy? Would you like in on this roll? It's free. And get you a free spot. And John Brandon Bow, if you want in, I can get you in on this one too. Rudy says he'll take a spot. Or Alfaro. I've never actually asked if I was pronouncing your name correctly. I'm just assuming that it's pronounced Alfaro. Could be Alfaro, but I'm assuming Alfaro. Okay, John Brandon Bow. I'm going to put JB Bow on there so we know who you are. Your name's too long to write on this little tiny card. And same goes to you. If you're not already registered to bid on my auctions, I'll need you to send me a note through email to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com, letting me know what your first and last name is and your PayPal email address. Same for you, 690SM. I can get you in now, but if I don't know your address and I can't bill you the 50 cents, can't do a whole lot for you. So you got to make sure you get registered. There we go. We got one for 690SM. Yeah, whatever happened to the 17-cent stamp? It went by the way of $1.50 gas. All right. So I'm going to stick the rest of these in the bag. If anyone else happens to show up and needs to get in, yes, Coin Junkie, I got you in. If anyone else happens to show up and needs in, oh, D. Reese, did you not get in already? I guess you didn't. I'll go ahead and put your name on one. Here we go. Okay. So I'll get my trusty bag out. I do have a few slots that are going to be freebies to people. And I will let you know up front, this is a Tails to Tails roll. And we're hoping it's a 2020 roll. It should be a 2020 roll, but we're going to find out here in just a minute. And get my trusty little plastic picker here. And I pick out at the end of the roll. It comes right apart, just like that. See, right there. And I'll keep going around the roll, picking outward like this. And all I'm doing is raking the paper outward because it's just rolled inward. It's not glued or taped or anything like that. And you end up with this. So I'm going to do that with the other end. And other end is going to come right apart too. So now I've got basically an unrolled roll. Paper goes over the coins just like usual. And it is a 2020 roll. It is 2020. So there's your full roll. And I got my names off here to the side. What we're going to be doing is looking for any doubled dies. Of course, we're not going to have repunchment marks, but we will possibly have doubled dies. Akram goes first. So let's take a look and see what we get. There it is, the 2020 date. And I don't see anything on this one yet. What we're looking for is extra thickness, especially in the date, and in the ERTY of Liberty is where they seem to pop up. They will also show up in God We Trust. Some chance of that, so we're going to be watching for that. The other thing that we watch carefully is the designer's initials area on both sides, on the left side and the right side, below the ribbon. What we're looking for is extra stretching. And stretching is going to look like, it's going to look almost taffy-like it's being pulled. I'm not seeing anything on this coin. This particular coin looks normal. It appears to have all of the same flaws as earlier shield cents. So they haven't fixed any of the issues with weakness in the dies that cause those die cracks at the bottom of the shield. You've got die cracks above the PLU of Pluribus. Probably have die cracks. Yeah, there's a die crack running off the bottom corner of the N of cent. If I said that too fast, N of cent sounds like innocent. And a lot of 2019s have die cracks in the hair. This coin doesn't have a die crack in the hair, but that's not saying we won't run into that eventually. Okay, so this one's going to go to Akram. I'm going to make a nice special first coins of 2020 flip insert for these and put them in each one of these coins. So for right now, I'm just going to have your name like this with your coin. All right, so next one I'm going to draw. Bill Betts. Got here just in time to get in. So far for 2020, we don't know of any die varieties, but that's it's just too early. We just don't know of them yet. Given that 2019 was just chock-a-block full of them, I imagine 2020 we're not going to be very far off. The Mint is not known for jumping real quickly at correcting issues. So we could have doubled dies for another number of years before they actually fix all of it. Okay, with this one, it looks like we've got planchet striation. It's causing all of these little lines, especially down here. And that's just because the coin wasn't completely and fully struck. A slightly weak strike on this one causes that. I'm seeing some die scratches, mild die scratches. Let's see. We've got no die crack above the PLU on this one. We've got a heavy die dot right out there in the middle of the field underneath the O of. So that'll be a marker we can use for this one. I looked for markers on the other side and couldn't find anything. So we've got no doubling on this side of this coin. So this one's going to turn out to be another normal 2020 Lincoln cent. Yeah, all of the shield cents have some spotting in the rolls, and the reason for that is because of how they wash the planchets. They washed the planchets and they didn't really do it very well, I would say. And so a lot of them come out with little white spots on them. You could probably get up to a 67 grade with those little white spots, but nothing above a 67, I wouldn't think. Mr. Fletcher comes next. And what we have here is, as it appears, another normal, slightly weaker than expected strike. It looks like that's going to be kind of a norm. Got those little striations running up and down on the planchet there. Looks like a little patch of die scratches right there. That could be a feeder arm scrape. Could be. Nothing unusual in the date and Liberty, though. No doubling on the ear. Hello, AZ Coins. I'm doing great. It's another beautiful day in my neighborhood. It's gray and icky and raining outside, but it's nice in here. Okay, so we've got that die scratch, or that die crack, I'm sorry, that die crack. So we should have a die crack. There's another die crack right there in the E of 1. There should be another one above the PLU of pluribus. So this is the same die we saw the first time around. Going for a second round. All right. So we'll pull that one out. That one goes to Mr. Fletcher. Trying to get Mr. Fletcher's name in there. There we go. And the next name out of the bag will be blank. Goes to Mr. Fletcher. There we go. Mr. Fletcher gets the next coin. And because we got a blank. And there's our year date again. And this one seems to be rather weak in strike because it's got a lot of striations running across it. I don't see any doubling. No hub doubling. Let's see what we get here. On the reverse. A lot of light flattening on the design just because it's not as sharply struck as we would like. That's why these letters aren't completely filled in right, and they look a little thicker than they should be. It's because letters on designs on coins are always beveled. They're always wider at the field than they are up on the top. So if you don't strike it up all the way, the letters actually look wider than they should be. So that one's for Mr. Fletcher. Now you know how the freebie coin thing works. If I pull one out, it's got your name, and then the next one I pull, if it's blank, you get a freebie. So here's BMP's first reveal coin, very first reveal coin. See what we find here. We still have absolutely no idea what we're looking for as far as double dies or anything else is concerned, so I'm looking for anything out of what I would expect the ordinary to be for this design. I've been looking at this design for 10 years now, so knowing what's on the other shield sense makes it a little bit easier to pick out what could be on this one. Got nothing on this one, and it does not match either one of the dies that we've been through so far. I was looking for a marker on this one. It's actually rather barren of markers. All right, so next one. Hello, PNC Floyd. A 690 SM. Very first reveal coin for 690 SM. And so far I'm not really seeing anything other than a normal 2020 Lincoln cent. I don't know. What do you call it? Do you call it 2020 or do you call it 2020? And then what did you call it last year? Did you call it 2019 or 2019? So if you called it 2019, just put all 4 digits together and type it out, 2019. If you called it 2019, then just type 20 space 19. I'm going to take a poll here real quick and see. So Jeff Dunn called it 2019. Bill Betts calls it 2020, probably called it 2019. Paul Hampton was 2019. Robert Adams remains unaffiliated. He uses both for both years. Most people called it 2019. Okay. So then 2019 it was. So how far back do we go? See, Chris Lee was 2019. How far back do we go before you actually used the 2000 term? So have you been calling it 20 since 2010? And then 2009? Because I can't imagine anybody saying 2009 or 29. Makes it really difficult to spit out a year when you're 2009. You call this year hindsight. I like that. I wish I could call it hindsight. Most of it hasn't happened yet. So it's your first year using 20, Layla. Okay. So it's 2020. So if I say it's 2020, then everyone agrees. They don't say, nah, it's 2019. That's interesting. There's a die scratch there that runs through half of the, it looks like half of the vertical stripes on the shield. Comes out on the field over there. It actually stretches all the way down to just to the right of the LB there. The LB initials. That's interesting. Interesting little scratch. It's definitely a die marker. So then I guess I'm pretty straight on that everybody called it 2000 whatever until the year 10. In the year 10, they switched over to 2010 for the most part, and have been calling it 20 whatever since then. 2015, 2016, and now we're actually in the 20s now. Could we call it the Roaring 20s? Because we had the Roaring 20s in the 19s. So 2020 begins the Roaring 20s. If you're a stickler about numbers and counting, you'll know or note that this year does not begin the next decade. The decades begin in years ending in 1, because we start counting with the number 1. We don't start counting with the number 0. So 2001 was actually the beginning of the millennium, the beginning of the new decade and the new century. 2011, then 2021, 31, 41, 51, so on. But a lot of people, hey, look at that. There's another freebie. And Aaron B gets that one. And so all the other dates from here on out, I guess we're just going to say 20-something, 2023, 2031. And so you can tell there that there is a slight weakness in the strike. Your letters are not completely filled in, which is why the S and the T and the A, they seem to be much thicker than normal. They're much thicker than these over here, because these were fully struck and these were not. We got 43 people watching right now. We only got 26 likes. I would really appreciate if you guys would hammer on that like button, because that really helps me out with YouTube. Helps me show them that we've got good content here that's worth coming and seeing. Let's see. Layla Lady. I still can't get Eric Clapton out of my head every time I hear that. I'm sure you can't either. Okay, I'm not seeing anything on the obverse on this one. You'd rather say 2020? When you going to stop doing that? 2031? 2037? I think it's just faster. 2020, 2021, 2017. I mean, for Pete's sake, when it was 1920, would you have been saying 1920? I don't think so. Just because it's a 20 doesn't change anything, right? Hey there, JC. Well, hey, look at this. Layla Lady gets a free coin. How about that? There's a lot of LAs in that name. Layla Lady. Let's see what Layla Lady's free coin looks like. Looks like it's a little better struck. Fewer of those lines. Still has the typical spots from the mint. Well, I tell you what, if you can get one of these to grade a 68, which none of them in this roll will, but if you could get a 2020 to grade 68, you'd have a big moon money coin at first anyway. Maybe the mint sets will be better. This is from that first die we looked at. It's got all the die cracks in the right places. Okay, you want to change it. I can't do that. This is a 50 coin roll. It's not a bag. But that one's a little better struck. What do we got next? Blue Sandy. Blue Sandy will get this one. All these coins look really pretty when they're not under the scope, so you have to think that when you're looking at these, you're looking at them at hundreds of times the size that the normal coin is. So every little tiny every tiny little fly flaw is going to show up. You're going to see absolutely everything that's wrong with the coin under my scope. But when you get it in hand, it's going to be like, really? Was this the same coin? Yeah, it is the same coin. I'm giving you guys the same coins I'm showing you. So you're absolutely going to get the exact same coin that we're showing you now. No doubling on this one. But when you get it, you'll see how nice these actually look. These are really nice looking coins. Just not so wonderful up underneath a microscope. What software do I use to stream with the microscope? This is OBS, which I believe stands for Open Broadcast Software. Avery K. Avery gets the next coin. See what we have here. It looks to me like we may end up with a roll of normal 2020 Lincoln cents. So far, 2020 or 2020? We have to enter that conversation again. So far, we've not found any die varieties on here, and we're probably about a third to, almost halfway through the roll. We've not found anything of any real recognizable oddities right now. Oh, you want to change your username, not the coin. I get it. I understand. All right, let's see what's coming up next. I don't like that term. Oh, look at that. Avery gets a free coin. Mr. Ketchens, here's your free coin. What do we got here? The reason I don't like the coming up next term, well, that's because that's how on TV they try to hook you into watching beyond the commercials. But what it does for me is it basically just ruins the broadcast because you're showing me scenes that I don't want to see until I can put them in context with the other scenes around them. So if you say coming up next and you show a building blowing up, then when it comes on and they start walking toward this building, you know it's going to blow up because you already saw that. And it just ruins the show. I don't know if that does that for everyone else, but for me it certainly does. So as soon as they say, coming right up, I'll pause it. I'll wait a few minutes, maybe go to the restroom or go get another cup of coffee or a cup of water or something, and I'll come back. And I'll be able to zoom past the coming right up and past all the commercials and get right back into the show so I can, for the first time, see what they were trying to ruin the show with before the commercial break. Avery Ketchens gets his free coin here. Now, who's next? I am pulling completely at random from a bag. Midnight Silver Run. Midnight gets his coin next. Haven't seen anything out of the ordinary yet. Just a nice roll of 2020 Lincoln Cents. Brand new coins. I guess I do have the habit of calling it 2020. 2019. I didn't really notice it until I started catching myself actually using it here. So maybe I'm on the outside of the norm. Okay, we have that die again. Yep. It's got that die break above the L pluribus. Juan Vieira, how are you doing? From Florida. What part of Florida? I just moved here from Florida 6 months ago. Or 5 months, 4 months ago, something like that. A little while back. Before it got chilly outside. So where are you from, Juan Vieira? Farm Dog. Farm Dog gets our next coin. $20.20. Miami. I just moved here from Lake Worth. Lake Worth, Delray Beach area. Is that a die break up there? No, that's a little hit on his forehead. Well, here's what we're doing, Juan. We were generously given a roll of 2020 Lincoln Cents by Ed Burrell to give away to people who spoke up. They're being given for free to begin everyone's collection for 2020. We're looking for anything, errors, die varieties, or otherwise on this so that we'll know what we can begin to look for on 2020. So it's kind of a, let's say, a searcher mission. Chris Lee, VDB, has been on the Lincoln Cent since 1918. They're just a little more noticeable sometimes than others. Coin Junkie gets the next one here. But it's been in that spot right there since 1918. Some years it's a little easier to see, and some years it's a little harder to see, but it's been on every Lincoln Cent minted since 1918. So 102 years now they've been doing that. Prior to 1918, it was not on the shoulder. The only time that the initials were put on the Lincoln Cent prior to 1918 was in 1909. 1909, they put a VDB at the bottom of the reverse. A lot of people had a problem with that. People back then weren't as well educated as we are now as far as things like that are concerned. They were a lot more superstitious and a lot, well, let's just say stranger. I'm allowed to say that because it was over 100 years ago. Nobody's alive who was complaining about it back then. But the VDB was evidently mistaken for some sort of a call out to venereal disease. So a bunch of people jumped up and down in horror that America would allow that on their coins. So the VDB was removed after just a couple of days of minting the new Lincoln cent. Now, in Philadelphia, it didn't mean that much because they'd already minted some 7 million coins. But in San Francisco, removing that VDB created a rarity because only 484,000 coins had been struck prior to the removal of the VDB from the reverse of the Lincoln cent. Well, from 1909, the latter half of that's a hair right there, or a fiber of some sort. The latter half of 1909 through the end of the year, 1917, there were no initials on the Lincoln cent at all. Well, this coin belonged to Mr. Eubanks. I'm sorry. Should have said that before I did it, but it is what it is, right? So, let's see who gets the next one. Levels of madness. There's a line running through your name on here. I have no idea why. I didn't do it. But so the Lincoln cent was the only coin in circulation at the time that had no initials on it at all for the designer. And this was, well, I'm going to say it was actually the fault of Charles Barber, who was the head chief engraver at the time. And it wasn't until 1917 that error was discovered, that they had taken the initials completely off the coin. And they replaced them to the truncation of the bust, or underneath the shoulder, in 1918. And so all the coins minted since 1918 have had VDB on the shoulder. Oh, looky there. Levels gets another coin. So, if you didn't like the spots on the last one, you can try the spots on this one and see if they're any better. Because Levels of Madness is going to get a second coin. Right here. Yep. Much like the last coin, this one also has the mint spots that we can expect on relatively new coins. It's just been in the last 20 years or so that this seemingly chalky wash that they use that dried onto the coins in spots has been a problem. I hope they find a way to resolve this issue. That's a very interesting scrape. That is on the die. That is a scrape on the die because these lines are raised on the coin. Not only are they raised on the coin, but they actually go underneath the letters as it appears. I don't know. Let me take a really good close look at this one with my loupe, and I'll be able to tell you for sure, because there's a lot that I can't see here that I'll be able to see with my loupe. However, my loupe seems to be... Hey, you're not going to use me today. All right. Let me pull this out and take a good look with the loupe and see if it's coin damage or if it's die damage. It does appear to be die damage. We'll have to watch and see if we run into any more like this. But it does not appear to be actual scratches on the coin. It appears to be on the die. So there we go. Levels has an interesting looking coin to play with. And Brad. Brad now gets his coin. This will be Brad's first reveal coin. And broke in with a brand new 2020 Lincoln cent. Now see, there I said it, 2020 instead of 2020. Maybe I just interchanged them and don't realize it. Call one the other and the other one. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. See, there's more of those little lines coming out of the... Oh, this is the one... This is that die that's got the... Well, yeah, there it is. pokey, stretchy thing going all the way through. We're going to call this the speared shield. It comes out over there to the right of the LB. And then it goes all the way through the shield. Well, maybe, no, that's not part of the same one. So it's probably feeder finger scrapes on the die. But we've seen this die before. So there's one for Brad K. Grabbing another name out of the bag. Oop, Brad K gets a freebie. So Brad K's going to get a second shot. Let's see what we come up with here. Yeah, it looks like nothing on the date. I'm checking the ear, the eye, checking pretty much everything on these, seeing if I can find anything new that we haven't seen the likes of before. See what we got on the reverse. It's the same die again. It is the same die again. So Brad, my good sir, you got yourself 2 examples of the same die. You can pick which one's the best to put in your book. Do I still have lanyards? Yes, I do. I do still have lanyards. And it's these lanyards right here that actually have a quick release detachment so that you can hand your loop to someone, let them use it, and then go back and clip it back into place. Oops. You got to be smarter than the clip. Not injure yourself trying. Bill, you want me to read the email now? I'll go read the email. I usually don't do this in the middle of a broadcast, but I will go read your email now. I don't do 2 things at once very well. I don't have an email from you, Mr. Betts. Let me do a refresh real quick just to make sure. And then I'll go check my junk folder just to make sure. Checking the spam folder now. I don't have anything from Bill Betts. Are we talking about cd@coppercoins.com, or are we talking about the Coppercoins payments at gmail.com? Let me go look at the other one. I don't open that email much. It's a payment thing rather than... Okay, no, I don't have anything from you in there. Well, it should come out eventually. cd@coppercoins.com. And I don't have anything from you in here. Must be slow. Okay. Well, we'll give it time. So, moving on to the next person. Adam Chambers. Adam gets a coin now. Let's see what Adam gets. 2020. They're saying on YouTube, it's saying that my users will experience buffering. I'm not exactly sure why. Everything seems to be operating perfectly fine here. So it has to be a YouTube issue of some sort. But I will stay together with you until for some reason it tells me that it's no longer streaming. I think everybody should be able to see me. Yours is buffering, Joe. Is there anyone that's not buffering? Anyone is doing just fine? Next name out of the bag is Joe McBride. Joe just had to step up and say that. Yeah, I think, see, Levels is fine. Layla Lady is fine. Farm Dog is fine. Bill Betts was buffering a lot earlier. But I think if you come out and say something, I'll pull your name next. You can try that. If your name hasn't been pulled, say something. Maybe I'll pull yours next. It worked for Joe. Got nothing going on that one. If I refresh or if the others refresh, because I think if I refresh, I'll lose the stream. Generally, when I get a stream set, I just do it. I leave it alone, because I think if I mess with it, it's going to mess something up. Because I don't know enough about it to be able to do things without messing it up. Don Harmon gets the next coin. You see nothing on the obverse on this one. Flip it over to the reverse. We've seen this die. Yes, sir. We sure have. We know this one for sure. We got two dies that I really know well in this roll. And the other ones I don't know so well. All right, grab another name. DN gets the next coin. Let's see what DN ends up with here. Hello, Majestic. Oh, there's another one of those. A speared shield. I'm only funning with you on this. I don't think there's any way that this would be classified as any kind of a slabbable error, but it is interesting. A speared shield. Mr. Patillo gets the next one. Chuck Patillo. Yeah, because I'm connected to him through Messenger. When I try to send myself photos of rolls or whatever I'm working with at that given time, I find probably the easiest way to deal with getting photos of stuff that I'm going to run is, okay, that's actually part of the lapel. I was wondering, what is that? It's part of the lapel and it's got a mark going straight up and down. But I find that it's easiest to take photos with my cell phone and then send them to myself through Messenger and pick them up on Facebook and use them in Photoshop or whatever I need to do with them. So when I go to send myself something in Messenger, I type my first name, of course. And guess whose name always shows up before mine? Chuck Patillo. Always shows up before me. So I'm thinking mine is earlier in alphabetical order. Why would his show up first? Anytime I type the name Chuck, searching for myself in Messenger, I get Chuck Patillo. Layla Lady, if you are registered with us, I will send you an invoice. I need so I'll keep track of who needs an invoice, and I'll send an invoice for 50 cents out to you. You can just pay the invoice. I know I'm only going to get like 40 cents of it, but it's better than nothing because I'm going to be using an envelope, some padding, and a stamp. This is Dacone's coin here. So I hope you're still around, Ryan. No worries, Layla. I'm going to need to be able to attach your payment to an invoice. So because that's how my business operates based on invoices. So I will just send you an invoice and just pay the invoice. It'll be fine. Hey, Midnight, you've missed about 2/3 of a 2020 roll of Lincoln Cents. No die varieties yet. This one goes to Rudy Alfaro. No die varieties, no real errors. We do have an interesting scratch on the reverse of some of these. We're calling it the Speared Shield. This is not one of them. But so far we have no die varieties. The coins are, well, let's say very well acceptable, but not high quality. Well, you just put it that way. The coins, I'm going to say, would grade an average of 66. They are nice, but they are not, oh my God, superb. Because a lot of them have, this one goes to Mr. Kevin. Kevin Speaks. A lot of them have little bits of this staining on them from the mint wash, the planchet wash. And a lot of them are not completely and totally fully struck, as is evidenced by all these little parallel lines. Those little parallel lines are part of how they rolled out the blank strip that they cut the this one's going to be a speared, there we go, it's a speared shield. So when they rolled out the metal that they were going to use for the blanks, they put these lines on it. And when they cut the blanks, the lines are on the blanks. They go through the upset mill, and the rim gets upset on them, but it doesn't affect the surfaces of the blank. Then they get washed. Then they go into a planchet hopper, and they get fed into little tubes where the feeder finger picks them up and pulls them through the chamber to be minted into coins. Well, the pressure on the minting of the coins is supposed to be high enough so that it obliterates these little lines. But if the pressure of the strike is not quite high enough to obliterate the lines, we end up with the lines on the coins. And that's what we've got. Now, a lot of these areas, like such as this area right in here, the strike was complete enough in this area to completely obliterate those lines, but up here it was not. And part of that is because directly opposite this area right here is the bottom of Lincoln's bust, his chest area, and the shoulder area. And that area is higher up, it's thicker. So it takes more of a complete strike to absolutely obliterate all of these planchet lines. Hey Ed, say hi. Everybody's wondering who gave us this roll. Hello, Opportunity Nux. This roll was very kindly provided by Mr. Ed Burrell. There he is. Copper Kingdom gets the next one here. I see this one looks very well struck. This one's strike is a little nicer than some of the others that I've seen. This probably will turn out being average for 2020. It's probably a very average strike for the year. The one thing that I noticed on this that we had a problem with last year was the last digit of the date and how fat and ugly it looked last year. Seems like this year they got the second zero just about exactly as they did the first zero, so there's no anomalies in the date that look strange or weird. Oh, well, look at that. We got a freebie. We got a freebie going to Copper Kingdom. So Copper Kingdom will get the next coin in the roll. These are nice, flashy looking coins. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the coins. It's just that when you look at them hundreds of times their normal size under a microscope, it picks up every single little flaw. And these coins just aren't nearly as flawed as they appear to be. They appear to be flawed. Here's another speared shield. Hey, Blue Sandy. So I can tell you for sure that these would grade real close to 66, if not better for some of them. So it is a nice uncirculated roll. There's Copper Kingdom's second coin. Let's see who's next. Next out is Mike. This is his first reveal. Or maybe. No, may not be. I think he was in a reveal last week. My phone's making all kinds of buzzing over here. For the most part, I'm able to ignore it. Spots are only a problem for grading when you get up above the mid-grades into the really high grades, 67, 68. Well, here's Joe McBride. I wrote you in on one, and here's your name came up again. I didn't realize that I'd already put you in the roll, but it's okay. We've got plenty. Paula. Paula, you want a coin from this roll? It's a 2020p roll. If I have any extras pop out the end here, I can give one to you. That's a little struck through right there. I do believe it is. Yeah, so you did have one. You did indeed. Okay, Paula can have this one. I will change this card to read PAB for Paula Bloom. There you go. We got that taken care of real quick, didn't we? You got yourself a 2020 Lincoln Cent now. Well, you look at that. Now, how do I handle this conundrum? I'm going to put it back. Shake it up again. There we go. Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton will get the next one. See what we turn up with here. Yeah, split it. I'll go over to my paper cutter and cut it in half for you. Just made more sense to put it back. That's an interesting little... It looks like a blister or something right under his lip. That sounds cool, Majestic. One thing that you need to know, though, is that there are a lot of 19th century coins, especially the early half of the 19th century, that have rotated dies. A lot of times those dies came loose and just spun around. So a lot of the large cents and half cents and 2-cent coins, rotation is actually rather normal with those. What do we get next? Doug Reese. Mr. Reese, here's your coin. Hello, Kevin. Drew your coin out a little bit earlier. We're not finding any double dies in here, so These are turning out to be nice, but normal. 2020 Lincoln cents. I do fret to inform all of you that as soon as I get finished with this broadcast, I'm going to have to take off because, well, I said earlier that I was going to get some nutrition before my next broadcast, and I did not get a chance to do that. So because I didn't get a chance to do that, that means my wife also has not been fed. And that means my dog also has not been fed. So I'm going to take off and go end up getting something to eat, I think. Okay, well, here's JB Bowie, or JB Bow, I'm sorry, Bow, like a bow and arrow. Very first coin from a pull. Let's see what he gets. Yeah, I gotta go feed my family. I'm thinking about taking her someplace to get a sandwich or something, but for the time being, I'm only concerned with what we're getting out of this roll, and then as soon as this is done, I'll have to take off. Angry wife. If I fed her every... Well, never mind. We'll just drop that. Right here, see? There it goes. Having trouble connecting to Coppercoins.com. It's Coppercoins.com. All one. Make sure that... Mr. Fletcher, make sure that you put the S on the end of it. Type it all out as one word. Coppercoins.com. And be aware that there are a number of dead ends in that website. You just have to find the stuff that works. We are working on trying to come up with a new version of the website that will actually work better. But for right now, we just don't have that going. We also don't have the 1-800 helpline set up. I'm joking. Would you like to do that? Be able to call a 1-800 number. Welcome to Coppercoins.com. Ray Longy. Ray Longy gets his 2020 Lincoln cent on right here. What do we got? Well, not seeing much, Jim. Let's look at the other side. Sometimes the other side will have the good stuff. Yeah, not this time. This is that first die of the roll that we pulled. We've seen a few of these. We got 45 likes, 52 people watching. So if we could only get, I know we got 46 likes. If we get 3 more likes, we'd have 50. Straight up. There's Mr. Longy. And next will come, I know we got at least one freebie left in here. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn gets a pretty nice looking coin. It's got a couple of little scrapes. Ooh, yuck. Looks like somebody took a divot out of this thing. Coin counter was not nice to this one. They have a 74 DDO. If not, is it common to have doubling on the date? You are probably talking about the 1974 large date, which has an extra thick 9 and 7 in the date. That would be the only quote-unquote doubling that you would see in the date, and that is normal. It's part of the master die. I don't know of any 1974 Lincoln cents that show doubling in the date at all. Hello, David. Have I ever? Oh, Jeff Dunn gets a freebie. There's Jeff Dunn's name. Looks like we got about 8 coins left in this roll after this one, so we're past coin number 40. Let's see what all we have going on here. Bug needs a ride. Say hi to Bug for me. This is that first die again. Yep. So nothing specific to the die, but we still look at the coins because every one of them has its opportunity to be an error. We don't want to take anything away from the fact that we're not finding any double dies. Well, that doesn't really mean everything in the world. Hey, Tom. Oh, looky there. We got another freebie. Jeff Dunn gets yet another coin. Let's see what this one looks like. Well, this one's pretty nice. A little bit of a scrape on the high points. Otherwise, a successfully struck and delivered coin. The United States Mint is doing their job. Doing their job rather well. That's a nice looking coin. It's probably one of the nicer ones in the roll so far. All right, Mr. Dunn. Matt V. Majestic, if you've got a way of taking an image of that doubling, I'd like to see it. We'll be able to talk about it, and I'll explain to you what it is, or if it's really nice, I'd like to get it listed, if it is actually a nice double die. Also, just for the record, whatever roll you got it out of, see if you can find that paper. I want to know which roll it came out of. Well, Shannon, here's the answer for that. They wash the planchets to protect them as best they can from things like corrosion and other issues. And these coins aren't corroded. They're really well washed. And they look nice except for the spots. Now, when they make these coins, they really don't care about the spots because they care about making a 1-cent piece for use in commerce. We are the ones that care about the spots. So if you have something made by someone else and they did not care about what you do care about, then you caring about it becomes your problem. And that's an unfortunate thing. So it is the collector's problem that we have spots on these coins. It's not the Mint's problem because the Mint doesn't care. That's how that works. Jessica gets her coin. Jessica signed up for a coin, and she gets hers here kind of late in the process, but still. These are all 2020 coins. They are all in pretty nice shape. They are all very much worth putting in albums. And what you end up seeing when you look at these at this magnification, you're seeing a lot of stuff that you wouldn't be able to see if you just look at the coin. So they are nice coins. There's Jessica's. Coming down toward the end, we've only got 4 names left. Hawkeye. Hawkeye PA gets his next. And let's see what we get here. So here's what I'll do for this coin. Just because we're going to take a little quick look at it. There's some spots above Liberty. There's another spot right there in the field. There's other spots out in front of his face. A couple little spots on the bottom of the jacket. Or coat, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm going to raise this up. And we're going to focus on the whole coin. And you'll see that the coin is actually not bad at all. It's a very nice, lustrous coin. Has a few very light spots on it. So you're telling me that an entire roll came from one die? That would be rare. That would be very rare. Isn't it kind of cool seeing that year 2020 on there? Every time I see that, it takes me back to that old news program. You know, the ABC 2020. I know a lot of you aren't even old enough to remember that. So there's Hawkeye's coin. Capri Pizza. I don't think so. Got 3 names left. JLB comes next. No, I don't think I've had Capri Pizza. Where is it located? In Lake Worth. So I had pizza on Military Trail once. I've had pizza on Jog Road near Melaleuca. I've had pizza on Jog Road near Lantana. But I'm not sure I remember a Capri Pizza. It's got some rather icky spots. Four Brothers. No, I'm pretty sure I've not had Four Brothers at a pizza place, pizza joint. Where is it? Four Brothers. Yeah, if it's down in Florida, I don't remember ever eating there. Let's see who's next. Eric Beyer. Eric Beyer gets his coin now. Okay, you guys are making me want pizza. And I'm probably not going to get pizza. And here's why. My wife doesn't like pizza. So I don't get to eat pizza when I'm with her. She'd call me a liar for saying that. But every time we do this little game of, it's dinner time, where are we going to eat? I don't care, wherever you want to go. Okay, let's go get pizza. Nah. It's where I want to go. You said that. Yeah. She has migraines, and the nitrites and stuff and pepperoni kind of bug her, so that when she does have pizza, she usually has like Canadian bacon and whatnot, and it's not real pizza anyway, because she likes white sauce, and that's not pizza. That's Alfredo on pizza dough. All right, Hidden Numismatist gets our last coin in the roll, and this is the final coin of the hunt. This is the roll ender coin, so it's going to have some minor issues. And it does. Just minor, though. Garlic pizza. I've never heard of a garlic pizza, but I've had a lot of garlic on pizza. I don't mind garlic at all. Keeps the vampires away. Yeah, we're live on a Thursday. And I tell you what, folks, we are done with this, but I am going to go ahead and take the commercial break now so you guys can watch my my tasty commercials. We'll be back in just a second. Be sure to check out and subscribe to Mantic Coins on YouTube, where host Shay Hoffmaster takes you through a fun-filled tour through numismatics to include coin auctions, educational videos, live roll hunts, and much more. Come join in the educational fun with Shay. Search Mantic Coins on YouTube and subscribe today. The best in online auctions just got better. Now you can enjoy Coin Night live auctions twice weekly with the addition of CNLA Weekend Edition with your host, Jessica Johnson. All the same excitement and the same great deals with a new host and at a new time. Come join in the fun this weekend. There you go. How about that, folks? Now, the reason I showed you that is because I am actually making an attempt to have advertising on my show. Anyone you know who might be interested in advertising for $100 per spot, that is actually very cheap when you talk about video advertising, and I will actually make and announce your video for you. That's $100 per showing. I charge $100 to create the ad and $100 per showing within any of my broadcasts. And I'm working toward trying to get advertising sponsorship on the show so that we can start doing more free giveaways and better free giveaways and other interesting things that I have planned that I will need some monetary support to get me there. And through advertising other people's shows and through advertising other people's business, I think is one of the better ways to do this, because I will advertise people who are the, let's say, the prime example of good business, because I really want to lead people toward others who do good business. Let's see, Eddie. Another Q&A. I can't do the Q&A because the software they use I am not compatible with. So I can't seem to use what they're using, which is that StreamYard software. It does not work for me. I do not know why it does not work for me, but it does not. And that's one of the main reasons why I left doing that show. The other reason was that I just don't have time. So, come in the next week or two, I'm actually going to begin a new show that's going to be a mail call show for Coppercoins. So, you guys will be able to send in your questions, and I will be able to visually answer your questions with slides and other things that I can help out with. Paula, do you know who is hosting the Q&A tonight? If you know who is hosting the Q&A tonight, let me know, and I'll make sure that the crowd knows that so they'll know where to go. Okay, so it's going to be on CoinDragon. If you go to YouTube and search CoinDragon, you will find him, and then you will find where the Q&A is. You can go to the Q&A show, and they do take submissions of coins, coin information, and it will be at checkmycoin@yahoo.com, checkmycoin@yahoo.com, and they will check your coin for you and talk about it on the air live as you're watching, and it's no charge to you. So that's what they do. It's going to start at 8:30 Eastern Time. That's in about 1 hour from now. Do I know of a nickel whisperer? The only person I know of who actually deals in nickels on a very regular basis is Brian Rybar. And I don't know whether he's active or doing anything actively right now, but if you search for his name online, you'll find something about him and may find his email address where you can contact him. Let me type his name out for you. That's his name. That's who you would contact about Jefferson Nichols. Folks, I'm going to have to take off now. I need to be done by 7:30 so I can take my wonderful wife to dinner. Not pizza. And I appreciate everyone coming by. I appreciate everyone showing up. I especially appreciate Mr. Ed Burrell for giving us this roll and allowing us to open this roll and give the coins out to all of our people so that now our family all has 2020 Lincoln cents. So this is going to be really cool. We do have two reveals coming up tomorrow. We have a 1950S roll and a 1956D roll. If you'll check the channel, you'll see the times that those shows will be broadcast tomorrow. And then Saturday, I will be gone to a show, and I'll be returning Sunday afternoon. And I may do a hangout on Monday where we just sit and chit-chat, kind of like we're doing right now. But make sure in 1 hour from now, that you go find Coin Dragon's show, the Q&A show on Coin Dragon's channel. Just look up Coin Dragon on YouTube and go straight over to his show and watch the Q&A show. It's tonight at 8:30. All right, folks. Well, I guess I'm going to go try to find something other than pizza to eat. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be, but I'm going to try. And I appreciate it, folks. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.